It pains me to talk about Lightkeeper in this manner, but to be brutally frank, the fact he still isn't a vendor in the game is a huge wasted opportunity. Yes, he has quests to give you should you take the time to go through his grueling requirements to even have the chance of speaking to him, but this wasn't, at least to our knowledge, his main purpose of being in the game. I can only imagine the amount of work that has already gone into making him an NPC that can move around and be spoken to while a live raid is being played out. I'm not downplaying what has been achieved here, not by any means. But until Lightkeeper becomes a vendor of some sort, his purpose in Tarkov is ultimately useless to us as players for the foreseeable future. When he was originally proposed to us a long time ago, the impression I at least took from it was that he was going to be this sort of elusive, all-seeing eye. Someone who basically knows everything going on around us and might be the one pulling the strings and seeing what works and what doesn't. And to an extent, that impression was right. He is elusive. You must bust your ass to even see this guy. And the fact he's in cahoots with the cultists is anything but good. I mean, lore-wise, it's fascinating that he works with them, and his right-hand man Zerachi, being deeply ensnared with the cult as well, really asks a lot of questions. Just who are these people? What are their motivations? What do they want with the area of Tarkov after setting off the EMP? The only little bits we know about Zerachi is that he's ex-military and shacked up with Lightkeeper to make the connections between him and the cult. He's even buddy with some of the rogues on Lighthouse. Other than that, he's just a weirdo with white eyes who's an excellent sniper. But back to Lightkeeper. It was honestly kind of incredible seeing him be a character in the world, in the game, actually talking to you, and having dialogue options when speaking to him. Granted, they are kind of a non-factor, and all choices pretty much lead to the same conclusion, but still, seeing this added into Tarkov really made my head turn. If they can do this, what are the other vendors gonna be like? Because we know eventually, in 10 years, I'm joking, all the vendors we've come to know and love will be injected into the world, and we will need to go to physical locations to speak to them and exchange wares, just like Lightkeeper. Only for now, he has no wares, just missions to send us on our way. And right now, that's the part that sucks the most. The idea of having a vendor in the world, on a map, having access to whatever they sell, and then trying to find a way off the map with all the goodies you purchased was easily the most enticing aspect to Lightkeeper upon his initial reveal from BSG. It created so many questions about the game and how we would engage with this new wrench in the normal formula of Tarkov. Now, instead of just looting the map, AI, and maybe other players, we can make purchases from a vendor, just like we normally do. But do the things we buy go straight to our stash? Do we need to actually extract with them in tow? Otherwise, are they lost if we die? This alone would have shaken the gameplay loop that we spoke about recently to its absolute core. Now, people have more of a reason to play Lighthouse especially, and hang out around the bridge that leads out to Lightkeeper. Now, your immediate thought would be camping the bridge, and while I didn't say it out loud, you might be right. That bridge would single-handedly become the most dangerous spot in the entire game. Even more so than anywhere on labs, D2 on reserve, nothing would even come close. People would want whatever Lightkeeper sold, and those without access would do anything they can to try to take those out who can make the journey across the bridge. But that raised another question. What would Lightkeeper sell to us? We don't have any clue to this answer. Some say it would be insanely rare items in the game at a marked up price. Others have speculated it might be some interesting technology-based gear, because in the quest lines that lead up to Lightkeeper, you end up doing a lot of communication-based quests to set up the initial connection, so that's plausible as well. And I've also heard rumors that he would sell anything that was removed from vendors, again at a hiked up price. Honestly, any of these ideas are solid and could very well be the reality once he does become a vendor. But when that will be the case, we will sadly just have to wait and see. Seeing Lightkeeper in the physical game was something I honestly had doubts BSG could ever implement properly, if at all. But, to everyone's surprise, they managed to get him in, and he looks and sounds fantastic. But he's lacking, at least right now, because he isn't complete without being a fully fledged vendor. it's hard to justify the sheer amount of work needed to even see him face to face. I understand this is, again, an endgame grind set, and this is just one step towards the end result, which is to have not only him, but all the vendors be at physical locations that you need to travel to, figure out what you want from them before packing up your things and having to work your way out of the map to your hideout. It's very similar to the idea of them making labs harder to get to, where you need to go into a map where it's accessible through a secret passage, get into labs, do whatever you're going to do there, then leave labs back into the map where you initially entered, and then leave that map back to your hideout. It's super convoluted with the way I explained it, I know, and I'm sorry. But to make it simpler, the route, for example, could be you load into streets, then you find the secret entrance into labs, then back onto streets, and then you extract. They want that to become the hook and loop for getting into labs, and getting loot from the vendors would follow a similar pattern. Maybe with the PC in the hideout, you could get stuff there. I'm not sure how they would want to handle that. But regardless, Lightkeeper is cool. His character is very interesting and compelling. It would be more interesting if he was a traitor, but alas, we haven't gotten there quite yet. Once he is one, however, I feel as though more people will be inclined to take up the challenge of unlocking him. But for right now, I can't see myself at the very least taking any real interest in trying to complete the quests needed to visit him. If we knew for a fact this wipe cycle that we're on right now was going to go on for at least a couple more months, then maybe, but we are potentially on the cusp of starting over once more, so I don't feel as though it's worth trying. But what are your thoughts on Lightkeeper and how he has been handled since his introduction? Be sure to leave your thoughts. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and be sure to subscribe for more videos about interesting mechanics in Tarkov that are either not fully implemented or just didn't live up to our expectations. I hope to see you in future ones.